Welcome to the third episode of the City Boy Show. Third episode, second season. Gotta specify there. We in 2 seasons.
2 seasons. I didn't think we'd make it this long. I lost that bet.
That's pretty funny. So we're gonna go over game against Chicago Fire. We probably should have won, but we'll get into that. James Sands and Sati coming back.
That's been nice.
And then Inter Miami, surprisingly, they're playing well. I guess Higuain was not the missing piece. And then we actually talked to Brad Sims.
That was cool.
We talked to Brad Sims. Anything that you took away from that you wanted to enlighten the fans on?
That we got to talk to Brad Sims. We're a legitimate podcast, guys.
I wouldn't push it that far. People were looking at us like, who are these guys?
No, I think one thing about Brad Sims that I really enjoyed was how much he actually cares. I know even after that interview, there's been some talk about like the membership gifts.
Yeah, how much does he really care, bro? You can't get some better city season pass.
And you should have seen Chopped Cheese went ham like yesterday, I think.
Chopped Cheese was hilarious.
It was hilarious, and it was a good rant. But but also one thing on that, I know we didn't say we were going to talk about this, but let's talk about it. Is about the membership passes. I agree. I saw the Forever Podcast post like the reveal of it, where it was just the bag, the pins, and the scarf, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. But I don't know, and I could be wrong on this, so I just don't. Maybe I'm just ignorant, but I don't know if other teams had like that party that we had at Webster Hall, and like when we had the championship run, that Hammerstein, meeting.
I'm sure they've had their own version of that. And if you saw the other boxes that I don't know if you saw Chopped Cheese's post, he actually did a pretty good job about it, but he showed like the actual boxes that other teams gave, and they were pretty sick.
No, the shot glasses were
that was
cool.
fire, bro.
No, it was cool. But what I'm saying is I just don't know. Like they are throwing more events for us. And I'm not trying to be like a homer here. I'm just saying. But
you are a homer. That is your problem.
But what I'm saying is, and we should hear from other like teams, do they have these events that NYCFC throws? Because I really appreciated what they did in Webster and had Joe Tallis in there. I thought that was really cool. I heard the David Buster's things with wax sauce. We didn't make it. We were supposed to go. And,
well, I'm glad we didn't go at this point. Everybody sounded disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. But, I do like the events. They always have that thing at Billy's Tavern like before the games. And so I don't know. Maybe we don't get it in the box, but we get it hopefully in other events this year, especially because if Chopped Cheese is being heard. Brad Sims better step it up.
Brad Sims like Chopped Cheese is mad. We got to step it up, guys. Before we get into some Chicago Fire, you finally developed another sticker. So if anybody doesn't know, we made a Tati sticker last year, and Tati actually put it on his cup, and it was pretty cool. When he went to Girona, you saw the cup. Post on the 90s podcast spotted it. But now you made a new sticker.
Yes, it's on the laptop. The Talis Magno sticker. Our camera's crap, so we can't zoom in. but yeah, we made new Magno stickers. And last year, the whole goal was we put a barcode on the Tati sticker, so then you could be like, oh, you want a sticker? Cool, subscribe to our YouTube page. And and it failed because the barcode was too small. So this year we said we're gonna get it right. We made the barcode bigger, but we actually cut it off.
This guy made it horrible.
So
cut off the barcode.
The barcode
again.
doesn't work again, but the sticker is still fire.
The sticker is fire. The goal is we do this for long enough that we have a starting 11 worth of stickers.
Yeah, the top 11 players.
Well, a lot of people not really feeling Magno as his top 11 right now.
As game 2. It's only been 2 games. He's got a lot of time, and you know what? 2 games where Tati was striker. People weren't too happy with Tati either. I don't know if you remember those days. But, we had a podcast and we were talking about those things.
That's very true.
So we'll see. So guys, we'll be at the home opener. If you want some stickers, come through, find us. We'll be there. We'll give out some stickers for free because I don't think we can charge money. We're gonna get Talis Magnos, right? But you better be a subscriber though.
We're checking YouTube pages. We're checking your mom's YouTube page. Everybody better be subscribed.
We're checking what you put as a review on iTunes podcast.
Nah, it's all right. You can say our podcast is trash.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Let's get into some Chicago Fire though. We look forward to seeing you guys though. We'll be there. Maybe we'll go early. Maybe we'll be at Stan's Bar or whatever, one of those bars around Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go pick up our membership box at Billy's.
Oh, right.
And then we'll make the rounds to the other places.
Sounds good. Hit us up on Instagram. We'll have a better picture of the sticker on Instagram.
Chop Cheese, we got one for you though.
Chicago Fire. Let's get into it. Run us down. How'd it go? I saw it, but
I mean, I think everyone saw it, and if you're watching this podcast, you probably saw it. But just to give a little rundown of what happened, some quick highlights of the game. 21st minute, Talles Magno had a through pass to GP. GP passed the defender, tried to make a shot, got deflected. We ended up with the corner there, but it was a good shot.
But before we go any further, this was the lineup from the game.
Let's do that first.
Let's get into the lineup. What did you think of the lineup? How excited were you that Sands was in?
I couldn't believe it. Sands was like was at JFK 20 minutes before the flight, and my man's is in the starting lineup, and he just fit like a glove. It felt like Sands never left, like he was here all off season. How'd you feel about it?
No, it was beautiful to have Sands back. It felt like we've been struggling with the midfield to the back line, and I felt like he brought it all together. Obviously, it still wasn't the result we wanted, but I did think he brought that extra element that we needed. And Yannick himself as well. I thought he played really well on the wings. Not the wings.
The right back.
Yeah, right back. I thought he did really well for himself, and for a kid being 18 years old, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that there was a few times where you saw, the front line of Chicago fly right past them. So defensively, he was a bit of a liability. Was he any more of a defensive liability than sometimes Gray be having? I think Gray plays really well defensively. Yeah, but I think offensively he looked sharp.
Yeah,
and I really like the way I honestly thought he was one of the better players on the pitch that day. So I like him, man. I like him a lot, which makes me sad because I like Gray a lot. I think he's a cool dude, but I think it's gonna be hard.
Well, I think this is the year of competition. And competition, I think we talked about it recently on another show. Competition is always healthy for a team, right? We have competition at left back. We have competition at right back. We have two goalkeepers going at it. So, I mean, I think it's only going to improve the team having all these people competing for the starting job.
Yeah, no, agreed. We also have some competition on the left wing. We had Jason start that game,
which was surprising. I think we were all pretty surprised by that, right?
Why do you think that happened?
Did it light a fire under Thiago Andrade? Like, I got to start doing more? Maybe it was to set an example. I don't know. I thought Jason played well, but I do still think Thiago Andrade brings that explosiveness we need. I don't know if it was Nick Cushing sending a statement, maybe. Do you think is that what it was? Or do you really think Nick Cushing has more faith in Jason than Thiago?
Yeah, I think the thought was that Thiago Andrade is a super sub, which I think he wants to be a starter. He doesn't want to be a super sub, but he just has the speed where if the team is tired and then you bring in Thiago Andrade, he just looks so much faster than everyone else.
And that's basically what we did last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought that's why he put Jason in. But I thought Jason played really well. For someone who typically plays on the right side, I thought he played pretty well. And typically he's like a pretty big defensive liability when he's played in the past. And I thought he did well. And he does what he does best. I think we had like 17 fouls that game.
No, surprisingly, I thought he was gonna get more fouls. He got like the first couple, and then the ref was like, all right, you're pulling the Tati on me right now. It's not gonna work.
And we should stop not calling it the Tati and just call it the Jason, man, because Jason has, I think, taken over that the crown.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, keep following us through what happened throughout the game.
So pretty much, I mean, if anyone doesn't know, the game ended 1-1. Our goal came on the 39th minute. And if you see that goal, actually, because I was reviewing it before we did this podcast, Pellegrini has the ball, and Pellegrini do what Pellegrini does and not have a great pass. Pereira was wide open, actually, on the right, but he passed it to like Parks, or try to pass it to somebody there. Parks ends up getting the ball. Parks tries to pass it to Talles Magno, overshoots him. Pereira gets the ball, and GP just easily makes that goal look so easy. And it was such a difficult goal. There was a defender in front of him. There was the goalie at goal. Yeah. And there was another defender near that goalie too. And he just shot it through all three of them. And I just thought it was an amazing shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a testament of how good Pereira could be. And I think everybody feels like this is his year. This is the time for him to shine. This is the guy we've been waiting for. And it's yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot more of this from Perea, and I think this is what I mean. We were kind of like a little down on Perea on game one because we thought he could have played a lot better, but game two, this was the Perea that showed up, and I think we're gonna see a lot more of that as long as he's getting the ball and they're getting to him easier than he has been because he's been getting the ball, but it's in a difficult spot where there's a defender right next to him. But that was a kind of perfect chance for him to showcase his ability.
I know this is an overreaction,
Yeah.
but I really think GP is going to be like player of the year for us, man. I feel like we always talk about, or we talked about a lot last year on how Talas Magno was like the raw talent and he just shows so much, but I just really see it at a GP. The guy just has so much flair and so much potential. I think he just reads the field better than everyone else on our team.
You saw he did the Jordan shrug after he
I
scored, so he's like
know.
too easy, too easy.
I loved your tweet, man. Yeah, his tweet was he had a picture side by side of GP and Michael Jordan. He said one's the GOAT and the other one played for Chicago. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, no, yeah, he just made it look so easy.
Yeah. But what I mean, so we scored that one goal and then we take Sands off the pitch and things don't go well.
Yeah, well, after the half, James Sands comes off, rightfully so. I mean, I don't know, did he come off of an injury? No, it wasn't off of because he was injured. I think it was more of less playing time.
Well, no, I think he kept falling down. He didn't come out that early in the game. So he didn't come off at the 45. I think it was like the 65th minute, but he kept falling down and he was cramping up. They asked him after the game, like, is Sands okay? And he said, yeah, he just had some cramps. I mean, if you think about it, he hasn't been playing 90 minutes on the Rangers. And so he comes here, he's playing more than he's played in a while. And he just got off an airplane. He walked all of JFK right before he got there. So like, yeah, he came out and the defense really, and I didn't think it was going to be such a step back when Hack came in, but it wasn't the same afterwards.
Well, that foul that then led to a goal for Chicago, was it more an errant pass by Barraza or more of a mistake by Hack? What would you say? Well, I think it's a little bit of both,
yeah,
right?
I agree.
And so then Hack, it was a bad pass by Barraza, which led to Hack fouling, I forget the Chicago Fire player, but
yeah. And then what happens is they get the corner. That wasn't a corner; it was a penalty kick.
Not a penalty, but it was.
That was
it was outside of the box, right outside the box. They had a set piece, and they score off. Magno seemed like he was trying to block it, and then it deflects off of him, and it goes into the goal. Really, no chance for Barraza to actually.
I don't blame that goal on Barraza at all. Like if Magno wouldn't have deflected it, Barraza went the right way. So I think Barraza did well on the save side, but I know we're kind of jumping topic to topic, but I didn't really love the way Barraza played that game when it came to like distributing the ball, especially in the second half. It looked like he tried to, send it to the sides and he kept just kicking out of bounds. And I was like, I think the great thing is Barraza, last year he had an assist last year. Remember that? So I think it was like, all right, this is something that he provides off the bat that Sean Johnson wasn't able to do, which was distribute the ball better. Sean Johnson was just never good at that and honestly gave away a lot of goals. Not a lot, but he gave away a number of goals in the past few seasons from making bad decisions when he had to distribute the ball. And so I thought, you could see that Cushing has more confidence in Barraza and he's letting him push up a little bit, distribute the ball a little bit more. But in that second half, it felt like he kind of struggled a bit and didn't do so well. So, I mean, in general, you didn't ask, but I think Barraza played well. But I think he didn't do so great when it came to distributing. How did you feel about Barraza's play?
I mean, he had 2 saves on the night. He also had like a really good save that was an offside, I think it was, or something that led to an offside. So, I mean, I think he did his job in a sense. The goal really wasn't his mistake either. Granted, it was his mistake in the sense that it was a bad pass, but I think he was serviceable. He did enough to warrant. Let's keep testing out Barraza. Let's keep seeing what he's made of. And then I guess we'll see. I think a real testament is going into this home opener against an Inter Miami team that we'll get into, but is undefeated on the season. We could see how he performs against that type of team with a Josef Martinez and those other wingers and attackers.
Gotcha. Cool. And what did you think about Santi? So Santi doesn't come in until the second half. Plays, I think, about 30 minutes. I think he came on the 70th minute around there.
Yeah.
What'd you think of his play?
I thought Santi could have been sharper, to be honest. But, I mean, he hasn't been with the team. He hasn't been with them since the preseason. Like, he didn't even play in the preseason. So, I thought we were going to see a little more from Santi, but I don't blame him for it being such limited time he's seen with these guys.
Yeah, and do you notice, I don't know if you caught this, I forget what minute this was, but there was a point where Santi had the ball in the box, and he tried to do a spin move, and they took it from him. And he almost had a shot if he would have gone for that spin
I think
move.
I remember that, actually.
And I go, that's such a Santi thing to do, man. Like, that guy tries so hard.
Okay, now we get Santi, and you automatically want to complain. Two episodes ago, he's like, we need Santi.
Oh, but on the Santi note, Santi gets signed. Everyone's happy about it, but he gets signed as DP. So my thought is, do you think Santi is DP worth it?
Yes. Who else are we going to have at a 10? 10. He's proven that he's an effective player. He's dangerous. Last year during the playoffs, he was unbelievable. Like, yes, you need Santi.
So this is my thought. I agree we need Santi. I agree that Santi showed a lot of talent last year. Do I think Santi is a great number 10 at this point? No, I think we've seen the talent that he can become a great number 10, right? And I think that's what we saw last year. It was like, okay, Maxi can pass the reins to Santi, and we need to give Santi time to develop, and he can be that number 10. But if you're saying today's Santi, this is the best he's ever going to be, is he worth DP money?
Well, I'll give you this. Do you think Thiago Martins is worth DP money, right?
Let's not talk about Thiago Martins, all right?
No, but okay, who do you think's better, Thiago Martins or Santi, or who shows more upside?
No, shows more upside, Santi, yes, but I think Thiago Martins is what Thiago Martins is. There is no more upside, right? I think this is his ceiling. He's good. He's good enough to play that position. I think he's there, right? Like, do you think Thiago Martins has more ceiling than where he is now?
No, but that goes more to the point that Santi should be getting this DP money, because Santi's gonna make our team drastically better offensively when we need that push we need somebody at that 10 spot.
But that's when he becomes a great 10. So really we're giving him DP money today for what we think he's going to be tomorrow, which I don't love. I do think if there was no one else, you got to give him DP money, and that's what it took to get him. I'm happy they did it, but do I think he's DP worth it right now? Like right now when he's sitting in his house getting that DP money? No, I don't think so.
I think you're crazy. I think that was our best option, and I think he's worth the money, because we don't you want to see a championship run now? If you don't give him DP money, does Santi come back? Probably not.
No, agree. But do you think Santi could, in this year, you give him a full year, by the time he's in the playoffs, he's Maxi level distributor at 10?
I mean, you're setting the ceiling way too high. We're talking about Maxi, who was with the club for however many years and has shown that he's one of the best at that position.
But do you think he's 70% Maxi by the end of the year?
Point is, he deserved I think he deserved the DP money. We need Santi out there. If you want to keep Pellegrini as your 10, good luck, buddy.
I definitely don't want Pellegrini as our 10, but we need a striker, and now we can't get a DP striker, right? I think we're at a DP spots.
No, I thought we only had two. Who's the third? Thiago Martins, Santi. I don't know. You tell me, or the fans.
No, you might right. Yeah. Let us know. I'm sure Coach Joe will tell us something, so you can let us know.
What else? What did you think of Yannick's play? If I'm saying his name wrong.
Can we figure out how to say his name right?
We're gonna mess it up.
I think it's Eugenic. Eugenic. I don't know, but I thought didn't we talk about him already?
I mean, I talked about a little, but you could get into.
I just thought on offense he looked so sharp. I think on defense he's getting better, and he's only 18 years old. Like, I think this is where you can see your potential. I think, and I said this on Twitter, I think he's going to end up taking Gray's job sooner than later, and it makes me sad because I really like Gray. But Gray was never a natural right back, and unfortunately that's been like where he gets playing time. But you can see that Hellenic is a natural right back, and he just plays it so much better.
Well, you got to remember, at center back, where we don't have much depth, so Gray could be still playing the center back position alongside Callens or Thiago Martins, because they're not going to be able to play all these games. They're not going to be able to start.
Yeah,
So
but how do you become a good center back if you're not playing center back enough?
No, but Gray's natural position used to be center back, and then they started playing him at right back, or they started playing him at right back.
I know, but how long ago has he played center back? That was years ago.
It doesn't matter if that was your natural position for years, you would think he's more comfortable at that center back position.
I hope so.
We'll see. Let's move on to this Inter Miami game. Or is there anything else you want to bring up before we move on to preview this Inter Miami game?
No, I think we've covered everything. I just wanted to
Did you feel like we should have came away with a win at the end of that game versus the Chicago Fire?
Honestly, after the first half, I think we should have came out with the win. But then after that goal, after Sands left the game, we were so shaky on defense that I'm glad we didn't lose the game. Because that's how it came off. Like the last 10, 15 minutes, felt like we had zero possession of the ball. If you look at the stats here, I think our possession was 49% for Chicago's Fire's 51, which doesn't make any sense because we held on. We had possession for the first 60 minutes. It felt like it for the first 60 minutes. And then the moment Sands left the game, we didn't touch the players didn't have a chance on offense.
Yeah.
Except for a couple of chances that were there. But I think that's where they made up possession. And I think that's where we suffered drastically on defense. And so that we came away with a tie. I felt a little relieved the way we were playing at the end. So I'm disappointed that we lost. Not that we lost, that it felt like a loss a little bit, kind of. But I am happy that our offense showed a lot of potential that it didn't show in game one. Game one, it felt like we're going to be having 0-goal games for a minute. Now I'm like, okay, with Talis Magno being able to distribute the ball the way he did that game, with Santi back, with Pereira playing the way he is, and now maybe we could put Pellegrini on the left. We could put Thiago Andrade on the left. Maybe we could keep playing Jason sometimes on the left. Maybe we have a chance. And I really do believe that we're going to sign a striker. Roberto said it last week.
Yeah.
5-7 players we're going to sign. We
got
3
to 5, I think you said.
3 to 5.
We got 2 down.
Which
I don't know if he was counting Sands.
Well, let's say he was. So we got 3 players left. Where are we weak? We're weak at striker. I think we need some depth at center back. And so I think, what are they going to do? They're going to give us 7 more left backs? They're not going to do that. I think they're going to sign a striker. So I think we need to have some patience for the team. We need to say, let's keep trying Talis Magno on the striker because you never know what's going to happen with these guys we sign. But
so
good about the team.
If we get a striker, does Talis Magno move to the left?
Nah, he plays center back. Yeah, of course he goes to the left. Where else is he going, bro?
I don't know. That's why I wanted to know. All right, so let's move on to Inter Miami. These guys are feeling hot. It's not the Miami Heat. They're just feeling hot. They beat Montreal 2-0, second in the East last year. They beat Philadelphia, which I was actually really surprised with, 2-0. First in the East last year, Philadelphia. Is this team the real deal?
I don't know, man. You would say a team that has left both of these pretty high power offense teams to 0 points have a great defense. And I think their weakness is still their defense. If you actually watched those games, there were multiple times where Philadelphia and Montreal should have scored. I think Philadelphia had 7 shots on target, 14 shots on the game. But their goalie calendar was just on fire. He was just saving goal after goal. So I think they have a lot of potential on offense. You got Josef Martinez, who's kind of been non-existent, honestly, the past 2 games. You have Jean, hopefully I'm saying that right, as striker, and you have Molta in the midfield. So I think they actually have a lot of good players on offense, but I think their back line is weak, and I think we can expose that. If Talis could play number 9 and Santi could be old Santi and maybe better Santi, DP Santi.
Talking about who's playing DP, who's playing 9, let's get into the starting 11. Who's going to be our starters for this game?
All right. I'm going to ask you because I've been talking a lot. Who's going to be who do you think is going to be the starting 11.
Well, if I had to go, we'd have Baraza, we'd have Kufri, Martins, Chanot, and we're gonna go Yannick over Gray. I think Gray's still coming off of that injury, so he might be getting better. He might need more time to get healthier. Keaton Park, Sands, Thiago, Santi, and Perea, and Talis Magno. Any objections to this lineup?
I'm just my thought here, and I think Coach Joe mentioned this on Twitter, which he mentions everything on Twitter, but I think in particular this that I agreed with is Alfredo Morales now a depth player? Is he a sub? Because I legitimately agree that Morales is the starter. And so does Sands just take that? And now Morales, I know he's a little bit on the older side. I think he's 30 now, 31. But I just can't believe that, we got rid of Kacha and said our go-to is going to be Morales. And then now Sands comes in and that's it. Morales is gone. What are your thoughts on that?
That's really a tough one because if you look at the lineup, who do you replace? You know what I mean? Like that's where I run into an issue. Like you need Keaton Parks out there, you need James Sands, you need your both center backs, and you need both your wing, your backs, your left back and your right back. So I can't justify benching James Sands. I can't justify benching Keaton Parks, and Santi's got to play that number 10 role. If Santi doesn't play the number 10, let's say he's still fresh off coming back to the team, you move Parks to the 10, then you have Alfredo Morales and James Sands.
I don't know if you put Parks at the 10. I think you
you probably don't. You probably put Pellegrini back, but I don't know if we want to see that.
I don't know if we want to see Pellegrini touch the pitch ever again.
No, not at the 10. Danny has a vendetta against Pellegrini. I don't know.
I truly believed in Pellegrini.
And there's still time.
Yeah. But did you see? I mean, you saw the that errant pass he made where he tried to give it back to Sands and end up.
Oh yeah, that was a danger.
Ended up being
thankfully the Chicago Fire guys just shot it to the stands.
Yeah, but Pellegrini is having a rough time as number 10.
Another thing now that we have to consider, because last game Thiago didn't start, Jason started over Thiago. Does that happen again this week?
I don't think so. I don't know why it happened, but I think Thiago Andrade is just too much of a talent to leave it. I thought Jason played well, but I just don't know if you take Thiago Andrade out right now.
I don't know. Like you said, I think Thiago showed that he's a very good sub. So you might want him back as a sub and do his thing as a sub because I don't know.
Do you think so? I was listening to Blue City Radio, and they had the interview with Cushing. One of the press conference questions, which happened before the Chicago Fire game, was like, Talis Magno, are you going to keep him on the 9 or are you going to put him on the wing? And, Cushing's answer was, the great thing is he's versatile to play both, which I think could be argued either way, that he can play both, because I think a lot of people are saying he's not playing great as a 9. But, you can always go back to Dottie wasn't great as a 9 and then he became a great 9, right? But is that a good idea, in your opinion, to keep switching him? I feel like your team, the goal of the year is to build an identity and then become strong at that and say, this is what we're good at. And if you are, I know you mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, like competition is good, but if you're saying, let's keep competing on who plays number 9, whether it's Thiago Andrade or Talis Magno, or let's keep figuring out who the right goalie is, or let's keep figuring out let's keep them battling. It's like, can you really form an identity when you keep moving things around, or do you just keep something in place and say, let's build on this? And I think people criticize Ronnie for never changing, and now we have Cushing, who is, man enough to make changes, but can it be too much?
Well, I think we're so early in the season to think that we shouldn't be making changes to find the right team when it's a 9 playoff team. Like you get 9 teams go into the playoffs. Might as well figure it out before the real showdown comes in the playoffs. Because once you get in, right, anything can happen. So we've seen that, like, when you're hot, it's those last 5 games before you go into the playoffs. That's when the heat starts coming. That's when the team starts clicking. And if you have a team that's clicking into the playoffs, you never know. You could win it all. And I think that's what happened with us the one year we did win. In regards to the number 9, I think unfortunately we have nobody else. So Talles Magno will stay in that spot till we either eventually sign someone or until we eventually sign someone. And I don't think it matters so much for Talles Magno because we know how good he is with the ball, right? It's not like, oh, just because I play the 9, now I don't know how to move with the ball. Just because I play a wing spot, I don't know how to dribble around the defender. He still has all that raw talent. It's just trying to make it more technical for a striker position, which we know he's not as comfortable, or which it seems like he's not as comfortable with. So I don't think it matters as much for that number 9 spot. I could understand what you're saying in, like, let's say the left back or the right back position. Who's going to be our guy? Because these guys are now passing to the midfield or trying to get over to a striker. Like, they need to have this chemistry on point. And I think one of the things which was interesting, I know Chanot and Callens, they had like this unspoken language to each other. Like, they never had to really speak on or off the pitch, and yet they always knew where the ball was going. And I think one thing that Thiago Martins, he was like complimenting Yannick, and he was like, oh yeah, he knows a little bit of Spanish, so sometimes he's able to communicate with Perea. But like, imagine that, like that language barrier that's difficult for you to communicate with the other player that's on your own team on the pitch at the same time. All that is just going to be comfort level. Like, okay, you've done this 4 times already. I know what you're going to do this next time. You know, so I think with the comfort level, you do have a point. There has to be some kind of consistency, but it's still too early to say these are my guys, and I feel comfortable with this.
I agree, it is too early, but I think you kind of end up defending me at the end. You end up saying you're like, nah, because this is not.
But I'm not going to agree
like,
with you. But I'm going to agree with all your points. Let's get into the betting odds.
Ooh. So I was surprised actually when I saw the betting line. Miami's undefeated. We have not won a game yet. NYCFC still favored to win. I think it's the baseball field. You know, Neville can't play on the baseball field. And you know, when you switch stadiums on him, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what hotel.
He was so mad last year. Context: last year he was pissed in the playoffs when we were playing in a baseball field, and then we switched over from Jersey to Queens. It's not that far, bro.
So the odds for NYCFC to win are -140. The tie is +270, and for Inter Miami to win, it's +320.
So the NYCFC is heavily favored,
and the over 2.5 is -128. Now, last week I said bet the over 2.5, and that did not work out.
This guy's losing a lot of money.
I am losing a lot of money. So now we're starting to the bet of $19 to make it to $1 million if we get 18 bets correct.
Oh,
so
no.
we're gonna have to reset that.
Don't listen.
But I truly believe that we are an offensive. What's the word?
Juggernaut.
Sure, we're an offensive juggernaut, or an offensive juggernaut when we're at Yankee Stadium. So I think the bet of the week has got to be over the 2.5, -128.
Okay. If I had to go with the bet, and I'll say my final score later, but if I had to go with it, NYCFC is going to get their first win. Miami hasn't played a game on the road yet. This is their time to lose their first game. Yeah, they've played 2 of the top East teams, but they haven't played an NYCFC team that has James Sands and Santi Rodriguez. The boys come back. We start settling down. This is, Phil Neville even said it. There was a smell in the air in Citi Field. There's going to be a smell in the air in Yankee Stadium. He's going to feel the crowd noise, the team, and we're going to have a presence out there. So I'm going NYCFC win. And then my final prediction.
Wait, before we get to final predictions, I want to talk about something that we missed. I think it was very important to talk about.
What?
Which was people talking on Twitter about Hebe getting 2 goals already for Seattle. And I think you had a really good point on it when you talk about the Sub Soccer podcast. And I thought you should make that point again here. So I think what people are saying is we should have kept Hebe because look at him. He's killing it in Seattle right now. I wanted to get your thoughts on how you feel about that.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth about Habed, but I did say one thing is, yeah, he might be he might be killing in Seattle, but they have a different team. The way they're getting Hebed the ball is completely different than the way we were able to. And when what we need at a 9 position for NYCFC is somebody who could make his own goals and make his own plays to get those goals. And Hebed isn't that. And we've seen that time and time again. And even though I've said like, yeah, he might not be a poacher, but he still does have that. I need the ball in the box. You get it to me, and then I can score. But I'm not going to score outside of the box. I'm not going to go over a defender with my dribbling. It's something where the ball needs to be either crossed in or a direct pass to Hebed where all he has to do is shoot. But I will say, Hebed, 2 goals. Granted, Seattle is just ridiculous right now. I think they've scored already 6 goals in 2 games, which is a ridiculous amount. And he has like for stats, for these MLS stats, I still don't understand all of them, but expected goals, he has like the highest expected goal ratio right now. So
with minutes played, I think it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, agree, and I agree with everything you said, which is why I wanted you to make the point. I think I personally love him. I think he's a great person. But I think for what we're doing at NYCFC and the way we play the game, you need a striker that is out there with the ball a lot. And we're not playing a 2-striker formation. And so maybe if it was a 2-striker formation, which I think is what they're doing in Seattle, honestly, is why Hebe is succeeding. I don't think if we would have kept Hebe here, we would have had people ranting on Twitter on how come we didn't sign a striker and all we have is Hebe.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's succeeding.
No, for sure. I think you can't but root for Hebed.
Exactly.
He's just such a likable guy.
Exactly.
But back to the final predictions. So I'm going. What am I going? I'm going 2-1. I think we allow a goal, but I think Santi, Thales Magno, they both make a play. We get 2 goals out of them, and that'll be it. We win 2-1.
I'm a little concerned still with the back line. I still think there's a lot of like chemistry issues with Chanot and Thiago Martins. If you think about it, you know, it was either Thiago Martins and Callens or Thiago Martins and Chanot, but it was mostly Callens. And sometimes it was actually just Callens and Chanot. So I think these guys are still trying to figure each other out. And you have a new right back and you have a new left back. Like, I still think the defense is figuring things out. I'm glad we added Sands, but I think there still needs to be a lot of chemistry building on that side. So I think we're going to give away goals, but I think in Yankee Stadium we make goals. So I think the score is going to be 3-2. I'm hyped. Let's go, boys.
Let's go. Guys, if you like the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. Any final words?
I'm just so glad to have a home game.
I know, I'm hyped.
I'm super hyped. We will be there. Come get some stickers. I think that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nah, I think that's it. Listen to the Blue City Radio episode. Joy and Joe Powell, some real interesting stuff. Definitely take a listen to that. That was really good stuff by Blue City Radio. Shout out to y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Peace.